They're seeing the picture. Mm.
Welcome to our view, to our view
Welcome. Thank
podcast.
you so much for streaming in our
Yes, yes.
very first podcast for our view. I'm so excited.
And I am as well. This is sh-
A long time
a long
in
time
happening.
coming. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
So I am your co-host, Linda Solomon.
And I am Deborah Sharif, the co host as well. And
Yeah.
we're really thrilled to have you. I mean, this is a podcast for anybody who's just streaming in. It's a podcast for Black women 55 plus as we have our conversation, but anybody can listen in. I had my 17-year-old grandson look at my promo and said, "Go get it, Grandma." So you never know who's watching. But
Absolutely.
we're just so absolutely thrilled to have you here. And if you have any comments, please, please make sure that you put the comments in the chat and we'll try to answer as many questions as we possibly can.
Yes. Absolutely welcome.
So, are you ready for the first slide, Miss Solomon?
I think so. I think we are.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Well, we'd like to start by introducing ourselves and letting you know what inspired this podcast. So, again, my name is Linda Solomon. I am a retired educator, a mother of three, and I am passionate about a number of things, but primarily um, Black history, um, restorative justice, just trauma and trauma response, and very committed to educating people around post incarceration syndrome, just to name a few. I have a nonprofit called Confronting Injustice, and another called the Sankofa Empowerment Group, all designed to educate, uplift, and empower Black folk, primarily people of color, primarily Black folk.
And that was a great introduction. And one thing I love to say about this, Linda, is we're former, or at least I'm a former Boston public school teacher. And
Hmm.
and I'm just thrilled that we have this opportunity to have this platform. I've been an activist, I think, from back in the day. Always was interested in social justice issues, and have always been an advocate for people who don't have a voice. And I think that's why I wish I had the luxury of being retired like you, Linda, but I'm still working. I'm a professor at Massasoit Community College. I'm chair of the communication department, and I teach young people um, how to produce their own podcasts and TV shows, et cetera, and which is really awesome. And I also have 3 children and 7 grandchildren and 4 great grandkids. So, yeah. So if there's any grandmas or great grandmas out there, you're in good company. And we're
Absolutely.
just both Linda and I are just thrilled to be here.
Absolutely. And a bit about what inspired this podcast is Deborah and I always have conversations about issues that are relevant to us as Black older females. Our experiences with the work in the workforce, being a parent, then just social justice. There were issues that are specific to us, Black females, that are unique to us. And we just felt there needed to be a platform for us to come together, for us to have a tribe, a village where we can come and share and learn from with each other and from each other.
Absolutely. And I think the motivation is, especially in these times, where well, I won't use the word, I hate to use the word elder because you think of elderly, but we are the seniors in the community now. And I should say the matured adults. I
Yes,
like
that
that
sounds
better. And
that
and
sounds
I
better.
feel and I feel that we have um, a third of our life left. We have more years behind us than in front of us, and we want to have a quality life. We want to enjoy. the remainder of our life. And that's what we're going to talk about, how, all of us can sort of interact with each other. And I think that was the inspiration behind it, is
Mhm.
finding our tribe and knowing that we have other people, other women who are in the same situation that we are. So the motivation was to have a platform like this and widen our net, because just having conversations with my good friend Linda, and when we said, we need to have a wider conversation with other Black women 55 plus. So I think that was the main inspiration for this.
Absolutely. And
Yes,
recognizing the collective wisdom that we hold and sharing that. Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
So let me know if you're ready for the next
Ready for the
slide.
next slide. Absolutely.
And again, if you excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt, Linda. If you're just streaming in, you can leave a comment and we will definitely get to it. Because we would love to get your feedback with our first launch of our podcast. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to move forward.
There you go.
And I'm going to make this screen huge so folks can really see it. And there we are.
Okay. And so in the African tradition of just paying respect and homage to our ancestors, we will always be starting our podcast with honoring our ancestors, and in particular, our Black female ancestors, because they, we're standing on their shoulders. They paved the way for us to be where we are today. And so I am just thrilled to be able to share, honor this Black queen who many people may not know about, but certainly she is worthy of our time and attention. Her name is Amani Venus. Amani Venus. She was the queen of Kush, where she ruled for almost 30 years plus. She, from the picture you can see, she is just an incredible woman. She was she was blind. She couldn't see from out of one eye. She was blind in one eye, but she was the queen. She ruled Kush. And many of you probably know that that was like the a black a period of time, a group of people who were warriors, who were just intellectuals. Just the history is so rich. Can we have the next slide, Deb?
Absolutely.
Amari Venus. We encourage you too to do your research. But she commanded soldiers. She commanded soldiers in the ancient, as I said, kingdom of Kush, and she successfully ruled and resisted Roman rule. So when we think about the gladiators, when we think about Rome and Rome, the Roman times, we see these movies on TV. There's never a mention of Black people unless it may be this big, this Black figure who's a fighter. But during that time, um, she ruled the entire kingdom of Kush, and she fought against the Roman Empire, if you can believe that. Not She fought against the Roman Empire, and she was unquestionably an extra extraordinary leader, fighter, military commander, and a political strategist. Yes, back in the Roman Empire period. And had she been a white female, we would probably have statues up of her. We'd have probably a federal holiday, right? But this woman, listen, what
Mm,
depth? This woman was incredible. When
mm,
no one could stop the Roman army, she did it. She
mhm.
led the charge. It's just incredible. Um, and so she is the person that we are recognizing today. And we encourage you to to research her and share what you find out about her with others. Um, and she speaks to the topic of our conversation today, which is clarity. Because without clarity, there's no way she would have been as incredibly successful as she was. Deb,
Absolutely.
do you wanna say
Oops.
anything about her?
I do. I do.
Mhm.
One thing that I think what since we segued right to clarity, the sister had to have a plan, right? She
Mhm.
had to have a blueprint. And just think about this was back in the day. We're talking BC. We're talking thousands of years ago, where a black woman ruled for 30 years. And I'm looking at this sister now who has a smile on her face, the senior sister walking down the street, and it looks like she has clarity. But the same is true with, and I have to say her name, Amani Renas. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
I
Mhm.
don't want to mispronounce her name. And, and I think about ourselves, and let me just push back a little bit so we can take a look at this beautiful woman. I'm thinking about our young sisters who are in public schools around the country. How many know about this sister? How many know? I
Not
mean, they
many.
know about Caesar, right? They know
Absolutely.
about they know about Caesar, but
Mhm.
how many know about this sister who actually defeated the Romans?
That's
She
right.
defeated them. And during that defeat, the Romans had to succumb to this black woman.
That's right.
And if I think about, that's why I wanted to go fast forward to my sister here with clarity, because we need clarity more than ever. And I think launching our podcast and starting off with a topic that can assist all of us in understanding our purpose, in
Mhm.
understanding our inspiration of, of having clarity, having the opportunity to influence, you know, uh, social media with all of these legendary, iconic African people that have contributed so much to society. I mean, every time I turn on social media, I'm so glad that there are other content creators who are honoring our ancestors,
Mhm.
which I think is beautiful. And I think that's why that sister up there that we see has a sort of like a swag. She has a
Mm.
swing in her step,
Mhm.
because she is, she's clear. And that's what we just want to go over some things, because I know that I don't care how much you dream about fulfilling whatever desire or whatever, I'll say, challenge that you want in life. If you're not clear, you won't reach it.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so let's before we go to this slide, we we talked about we talk about our history because we wanted to serve as a foundation for us. We wanted to serve as a springboard for us to move forward. And just sharing the information about this woman warrior that tells us a number of things. We're resilient beyond measure, that we are intelligent, more intelligent than we probably recognize and know. But our history, our history serves as our roots. And when we have strong roots, we can withstand any and everything, right? A strong wind, whatever. It's not, it may, we may bend a little bit we're not going to be knocked over. And we want to send that message. Our roots are incredible, impenetrable. So man, no matter what happens, we will be okay. So that's why we shared that. And there were countless other um, people in our history that we'll be talking about in these podcasts. But Deb, can we share the next slide?
Sure,
Talk a
absolutely.
bit about
The
just for
next,
clear,
yeah.
yep, just to provide a clear
Did you want to go back to
definition
clarity,
of what
or
clarity is.
okay? Was our next slide from there, but let me just push back. That
Thank
was
you.
those are your
Mhm,
notes, and that
mhm.
was that. So you want me to go forward?
No, go back to the last one you had about clarity. What clarity means.
Oh, you mean go forward?
Forward.
Because the next one is going to be our sister that we've been talking about.
Okay.
So
Next.
after this, next
Uh-huh.
one.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's make it big so people
All
can
right.
see.
Because we want everyone to be clear about what we're talking about and what clarity means, right? Clarity of mind. Um, and clarity just refers to understanding what is most important to you, your values, your passions, your and short-term goals, right? It's about having a sense of direction and knowing what you want to achieve in life. Clarity. It When you know what you want, you know what your values are, then that determines what you will and what you will not do, right? And we are so bogged down, many of us are bogged down with just the day-to-day survival, um, things related to survival, that we don't really take enough time to think about what's most important to us and why, and what values do we model, what determines how we live our life, right? So clarity, having a clear sense of what matters most to us, um, helps to filter out the distractions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, as we think about the definition of clarity, most people would have to agree that when they achieve something, the first thing that they're going to say is, I was so clear. I had a blueprint, I had a business plan, or I had a personal plan, or I knew I was going to travel and have this amazing summer vacation, or I knew I was going to purchase this home because I had a pathway to all of these things. And all of that meant was I was clear. I'm
Mhm.
clear. I'm clear on where I need to go. And I think that is the most important thing that we can get. It's a gift that we can give to ourselves. I really do.
No, absolutely.
Mhm.
And
And we
you
can
know,
do you wanna move on or you still
well,
want
before we move on, I think it's important to for people to think about, even if you don't have a thought out plan about where you want to go, not having a plan is is
to
I it's like almost having, if you don't plan, then something's going to happen.
Correct.
Probably not what you want to happen. You're not going to reach your goal. And so it's important. It's almost like you wouldn't leave your house without knowing where you're going,
That's right.
right?
That's
Because
right.
whichever wind blew the strongest would be where you would end up. So it's important to be very clear about, like, what matters to you in your life. This, our life is not a dress rehearsal. We don't get a do over, right?
That's
And
right.
it's okay to make mistakes, but we should be clear about what we want, especially Black women, because we just carry so much weight. We carry so much responsibility. We have so many different roles to play. We want to be clear what is important to us, what's most important to us, what values are important to us, and how we want to maneuver in this world. Those are decisions for us to make.
I agree. And Linda, we've had conversations before, prior to becoming partners, and anecdotal information. How I met Linda, she consistently was at the Grove Hall Library, and I know people are watching this from all over the world, but we're both from Boston. We're in Boston now,
Hmm.
and she had these meetings, Sankofa, and they were, for me, they were healing meetings because it was just an opportunity to come together. And we just, even if Linda had one topic that she wanted to cover, but it was just listening to other people and what they had to say, and and what their feelings and emotions were around our specific community. And I used to leave there saying, wow, I actually connected with other people that have dreams like I do. I mean, believe it or not, even when you're 55 plus, we still got dreams, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, because here's the bottom line, it's never too late to be great.
There's
And I am quoting my girl, Helen Credo, who was my former supervisor at the Urban League. And she might have got it from somebody else, but that's where I got it from her. And she always used to say, Sharif, it's never too late to be great. So,
go. There you go. We'll have to post that because that is so true. And oh gosh, I would love for people to take a moment and think about, um, clarity. You know, do you have clearly defined goals? Do you really have you thought about what's most important to you? Have you thought about are you living for your are you doing the things that are important to you, or are you sac- I won't say sacrificing your life for someone else, but if you have children or if your focus is others,
Mm-hmm.
then it's just this is an invitation for you to think about that. Think about what matters most to you, and are you is what how you live your life.
Right.
But we can go on. We can share more information, Deb. And we're
Right.
interested in your comments as well. So
That's
please
what
put
I
your
was looking
comments.
for to see if anybody is commenting. So we're, this is we've been on this platform before, but we haven't been on it for a while. So we want to, check in and see if anybody is commenting. But so far, we have not got a comment. So we're gonna move on. You ready for the next slide?
Ready for the next slide?
Let's do it.
Hmm.
Let's do it. Come on, slide. There we go. Oh, I like this slide. Mm.
It's the benefit of starting with clarity, the benefits of having clarity, right? Um,
Yes.
when you're clear, you have clearly defined goals. You have a clear direction. You know where you're trying to get to. Even if you are distracted along the way, you still can get back on track. You know where you're going, right? Um, and you have a sense of meaning. You can identify distractions. Think about it. You leave your house, you know where you're going. You might run into some people, stop and chat for a minute, but I got to take off. I have something to do, right? So
Mm.
having a clearly defined goal, um, it impacts your self esteem. It helps us to, I think, be resilient, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, when I think about the identification of distractions, how many times, I mean, especially being a mother, a grandmother, an aunt, a
Hmm.
former life, because, we still interact with, our, former spouses, etc. But this distractions is an opportunity for us to really think about, okay, today I wanted to go and to the exercise. I wanted to go to the gym. And I got distracted because my daughter called and said, "Mom, will you take the boys to boxing club?" And I said, "Oh, I forgot. I promised my grandsons I would take them." So it's really about, how do we define our goals? How do we have a clear direction and a sense of meaning? And so that we can make sure that we carve out time for ourselves.
Hmm.
Hello, we we want an opportunity to actually have, some time to ourselves.
Absolutely.
And I was just sharing with Linda today, and I want to share with all of you that there was a fabulous posting. Remember the posting I had? This sister with gray hair, and she was in front of the mirror, and she was saying, "It's my time now." It says, "So just don't bother me. This is my time, my self care." And and I said, "Yes, it is our time.
Hmm.
Our time to make time for ourselves, as well as clarity, and being clear as to, what makes us who we are,
Hmm.
and sometimes we have to let people know that, no, I'm sorry, today is my spa day. Today I'm getting my pedicure, my nails done. Today I'm going to a workshop so I can have a side hustle to increase and supplement my income. Today, no. So we've got to do that. We
You do.
must.
Right. In self care, some people think self care is being selfish, saying no
No
is being
way.
selfish, and it absolutely is not.
Mm,
We as Black women historically have been caretakers, right?
that's
We've always taken care of other people, whether it's our siblings, and a number of us are taking care of our parents, what caretakers for our parents. our children, our grandchildren. I mean, we um, we have been in a role of caring for others to our detriment in some cases. And it's not everyone, but far too many of us are. And so we just want to be sure that we're clear about what's important to us, because as we get older, we don't want to live a life full of regrets. We just simply don't. And so if you, after evaluating what is most important to you, what values are important to you, what, like, even create a bucket list. But you want to make sure that you're not living your life for someone else, because you don't want to have a bunch of regrets as you get older.
That's right. That's right.
Really.
Absolutely. Let's see what we got here. And again, I'm looking for some chats. Oh, there's one she hasn't finished typing, so I'll ask her question and hopefully we can uh,
Okay.
answer it. But let's take a look at this second one,
Mm-hmm.
and let's make it big enough so folks can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Clarity versus uncertainty. Here's the comparison chart.
Mm-hmm.
This is so, I think we talked about defining our goals and the meaning and the resilience and the uncertainty, the instability, the low self worth. And we went back and forth, didn't we, Linda? Let me show both of our faces because
We did, because
we went
I
back.
said, I don't know if I agree with the low self-esteem. We know that clarity, the opposite of clarity is uncertainty.
Right,
We
correct.
know it, right?
That's right. That's
So we're talking in, I agreed with the clarity helps you define goals and create meaning in your life. But uncertainty, I didn't know. I said, I don't think that you necessarily have low self-esteem if you're not clear about where you want to go. It
right,
could be learned behavior, right? And where in society do we talk about clarity anyway? Not
right.
at a kitchen
Exactly.
table, not at church, not at school. And
Exactly.
so to have clarity is not something that it's not something that you just, like, unless you are very deliberate and intentional about it. It's not you may not have clarity because it's not something that we typically talk about.
That's right. That's right. Hey,
But
folks, if you're just streaming in, I just want to mention this is a podcast, brand new podcast called Our View, specifically for Black women 55 plus. Continue, um, Linda. Sorry. Go
okay.
ahead.
So just talking about, what clarity provides for you and what happens when you're not clear. Waste a lot of time, right? Um, you're just not sure where you want to go. And because if you don't know where you want to go, you could end up anywhere. And most likely it won't be where you want to be, right?
Well,
Um,
that is so true. But the other face of it, and the reason I wanted this slide is the reason that some folks fail is because of low self-esteem. They don't think they can achieve it.
mhm,
So instead of trying, and I love the fact that there was a book one time I was walking in Copley Square, and there was a book that said, steps to failure lead to success. Steps towards failure lead to success. And people don't
mhm,
realize, they always see the completed deal. Just like,
mhm,
when I was in film school and we had to learn pre-production, learn how to at that time how to shoot a camera, a 16 millimeter camera, how to do this, how to do that. We only saw the completed product. So when we had to do all this stuff and our first films came out horrible, we were saying, oh, can I ever be as good as some of those films out there? And, if you keep failing at something that you want to do really badly, you start to develop this low self-esteem.
mhm,
And you know what? That even as educators, Linda, that goes back to our students, and I'm specifically talking about Black students,
mhm,
when they're sitting in those seats and they're learning about all of the contributions of white folks and what they have contributed to society, and we only get to talk about the same legendary folks that everybody knows about, that can lower self-esteem for children in terms of learning. I was in the classroom for 20 some odd years in the Boston public school system, and I saw the self-esteem. So I always made sure that I added Black people to our curriculum. And I
Absolutely.
never forget the one of my Italian students came up to me because I taught at Eastie in East Boston, and we were at that point we were celebrating Black History Month, and so my Italian students, hey, Miss Cherie, when we going to study about Italians? I said, hey, let's do it. All you have to do is get a couple of other Italian students together, show me some historic information. Now this is back in the 90s, right? And it's, oh, okay, that's all I got. I said, yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about our Italian brothers and sisters. Didn't want to say Hannibal went over there and you might be related to me, brother, my Italian. But the bottom line was, and of course, because it was work, I never saw him again. But the bottom line was, I always, no matter what curriculum or what I was teaching, I always made sure that I included Black history into the curriculum. Very important. But again, that can lower self-esteem. And that's why I think it's important if you're talking about being clarity, then some people don't know, they don't recognize the things that trap them in this sort of society where they can't get out there and challenge and complete what it is that they want to complete in their life. That's
Absolutely.
reality.
Absolutely. And Deb, I'd have to agree with you 100%. As an educator, even as a parent, you're, you're only as strong as your roots. I'll use that analogy. And in the experience of Black people in the United States has been such that we almost we get these very direct messages and then subliminal messages about our value, right? How they it's really clear about how they see us, but how does that shape or warp into how we see ourselves?
That's right.
So,
That's
so having self-esteem, recognizing your value, appreciating the melanin in your skin is not something that's taught in school. If people are fortunate enough to come from a home where they talk about it, that's wonderful. But that's not something that just comes naturally. It has to be developed. There's no doubt about it.
right.
Um, and so in like clarity, it's not something that's developed. It's a journey. Clarity doesn't just happen like that. It's a journey, and usually it comes with education,
Yeah.
because it,
I didn't mean to interrupt, but we have someone that wants to know how they can get in touch with us. And so I
absolutely.
put it on the bottom of our screen. If you email us at our view Nubian Queens at gmail.com. And
Mhm.
it's right at the bottom of the screen. It's our view Nubian Queens at gmail.com. So, and thank you for the comment.
Thank you, Deb. Let me tell you, I used to work at an alternative school in Boston. 99% Black students. We'd have maybe one Asian, one or two white students, maybe. And like you, always whatever I taught, I infused Black history, because it wasn't happening anywhere else. It was important to me, and the students that were sitting in front of me, I wanted them to value their self. And so one of my lessons involved asking students what it meant to be Black. And believe it or not, they couldn't answer that question.
Mm,
What they said to me was that they thought slavery civilized us,
mm,
right? And that just changed me forever, because if they think that we were civilized through slavery, then what must they think of themselves? And so I said to them, well, go home, talk to an aunt, uncle, mother, father. The assignment is to tell me what it means to be Black to you.
hmm
But the fact that they couldn't answer that my question, and this is a high school.
Yeah, but that's what I expect. If you're feeding young people nothing, then how are they supposed to know? I mean, just like the parents, the same thing. When I had written a book and a curriculum, and the parents, would come up, they didn't know these things either because they weren't taught them. So how are
Exactly.
they going to go home and have a parent teach them something? And just think going through your life. I mean, I want to stay on the same track of 55
Absolutely.
plus, but because we're educators and we had young people, I can understand talking about the low self-esteem, but the low self-esteem plays a huge role because that same adult grows up and they still don't have the same information that would give them that robust confidence. So now, on the third of our life that we have left, that's why we got this podcast,
Hmm.
because we want to enlighten people and bring them to the point where you can do and have anything you want.
Absolutely.
And that's the reality. Let's move on because as time is, getting away with us, let's look at the next slide. And I'm glad we have this slide. And let me bring it up. Ho, ho, ho. Let's make this slide bigger.
Yep. Living a meaningful life.
Mm,
And
wow.
yeah, living a meaningful life, living with purpose, having a sense of direction. So, living a meaningful life is about having a purpose and a plan, right? Having
Yes,
a purpose and a plan, prioritizing your personal happiness. And that's really important. Our children, our grandchildren, our job, all of those things, all those individuals' job, that's important. However, your personal happiness, at the end of the day, you want to be able to smile about the things that you accomplish or the things that the legacy you're leaving, right?
yes,
You want to, yeah, as it says, focus on leaving a legacy. What do you want to be remembered for in the eyes of your children or your grandchildren or the world, right? And so serving others, and that's key. When you serve others, it enriches your life as well. So these are some of the things that help, are the keys to a purposeful life.
absolutely. Absolutely. Focusing on leaving legacy, serving others. I mean, I think I think it's important that the life that we lead is exceptional because just like you said, you don't get a do-over.
That's
And
right.
this is not a dress rehearsal. This is
This is
the
it.
the real
This
thing.
is it.
And for us to even think about the fact that leaving a legacy and living our best life means that we have to really determine what quality of life are we living right now. Are we living our best life? And if we're not, are we clear about where we need to actually take those next steps? Where do we take those next steps? And from our toolkit, do we have that opportunity to really, really think and reflect? Okay, well, I did X, Y, and Z. I mean, I'm proud of my accomplishments. I have to be grateful for the
Mhm.
things that I have done during my lifetime, and that led me up to right now. But right now, I have other goals. Our goals change. And are we up for the task? Are we clear enough to know get the cobwebs out of that pathway? Now I'm actually carving out a new pathway.
Right.
It's a new pathway. And being older, it really makes me think about the fact that, wow, when I was much younger, I thought I had a ton of time. know, okay,
Mhm.
I'll get to it next week. I'll get to it next year. But now that we're at this age, we know that time is the most precious thing we have right now, and what we do with it is really important.
It is. And living a purposeful life and living with clarity also includes understanding the mistakes that you made, right?
Yes,
Understanding and being aware of the path that you went down that you should not go down again, right? I am
correct.
a firm believer that, you know, things happen, and I never beat myself up over anything that I've done because it doesn't help me, right? It's people make mistakes, and as Deb said, that's how you grow. You grow, you make mistakes, you learn from it, and you move forward. So you use your mistakes as a learning opportunity. You use your mistakes as a springboard to do something different. It's not a good use of your time or energy to be concerned about your mistakes. It's just part of life. Where do you go next? What is your next move? Being clear about that is what's most important.
And this is my next move right here. Mindfulness for clarity. I love this. The role of inner focus. That's what we've been saying all along.
Mhm.
Quiet the noise to clarify your thoughts. Mindfulness sharpens attention and reduces distract. Doesn't it reduce distractions? Oh my
Absolutely.
goodness. Absolutely.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking about the fact that if we, if we really think about how we live and what can we do to recognize the things that matter most to us, we got to get quiet, right?
Hmm.
We must
Absolutely.
get quiet. And if we don't get quiet on quieting the noise, how are we going to even establish? Let me put us both back in the so we can look at each other as this sister is meditating. I
Hmm.
mean, this is like, yes. And I remember the first time when I did meditate. This was like it was a trend back then. TM, transcendental meditation. I got so hooked on TM and meditating that when I went to work and had an opportunity to have a break, I would get away from the noise. And I wouldn't sit like that, sister, but I would sit straight. And I actually went to a master to get a mantra that would call all of my cells to reflect and to be quiet so it could stop the chatter in my head. And I started off when I first started meditating, Linda, I meditated for like 2 minutes because the clutter was too much, right? But after time, I could get from 2 minutes to 5 minutes, to 5 minutes to 10 minutes, and then from 10 minutes to actually 15 minutes. And when it all was said and done, I could meditate for an hour. And I,
What?
yes, yes, ma'am, an hour.
I can't even. I can't even imagine that.
Yes, but I had music, I had incense, my favorite incense. I would go to my favorite bookstore, my new age bookstore, and get some incense, and I would meditate for an hour. When I came out of that meditation, I mean, I was like, "Whoa." I was so clear. I mean, just think about it. You see what this is saying, the role of inner focus, how important it is. And a lot of people will say, "Well, I don't know how to meditate." But there's so much information about quiet the noise, mindfulness, sharpens attention, reduces, oh my goodness, did it reduce distractions for me? It
Mm.
really did. And it was, yes, it was something that I really, oh my goodness, that I really needed at the time. And that's when I was running. I was a runner as well. And that was a way of meditating. But you
Well,
had a form of meditation
well,
that
I'm glad that. Yeah, absolutely. I'm
share,
glad you asked
share.
that because sitting meditating was not a good strategy for me.
Hmm.
Anything that calms your spirit, that calms your mind and your spirit.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy walking, being out in nature. Nature has healing properties. And so just being out walking around, not in a hustle and bustling, but just out walking in the park or walking around, listening to music. I love smooth jazz. It takes me somewhere else. And believe it or not, movement. Like I love to dance, and
Hmm.
just creative movement just helps to relax my body, calm my mind. It's part of our history. The music's part of who we are as Black people.
Right.
For meditation, um, there are traditional forms of meditation, and then there are non-traditional ways to meditate, and it's whatever works best for you. The objective is you want to slow down, calm your spirit, be relaxed, and focus on what?
Focus, just
Just
wow,
focus,
yeah,
anything,
focus.
right?
Well, what I used to do was focus on my mantra. I never knew
Hmm.
what a mantra was until I had a trainer, a master trainer. And a
Hmm.
mantra is a word that again calls all of yourselves together,
Right.
and it just brings you closer to nothingness. That's what you want, nothingness.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's really tough. I mean, I'm looking at this sister here, and her daily practice. And again, you can see that she's holding her hands in a, like with her
Hmm.
index, holding her thumb with her index finger, um, and she's in a zone. She's
Right.
in a zone. And
Hmm.
daily practice for focus, mindfulness, meditation, yoga, regular planning, and journaling is really, I think, intentionally perfect for us at this age, because it brings us to a place that is just so serene and so peaceful. I mean, I can understand why our grandparents would say, "I just want peace." They would retire. I had my aunt. She retired on Oaks Bluff.
Hmm.
Martha's Vineyard. She retired there. She was living in a high rise downtown Boston, and she decided, no, I want serenity. I want peace. And I was really happy for her. But now that I'm getting up there closer to her age, I understand. We want peace.
Hmm.
And when we want peace, for so many different reasons. Some people want peace because they want to write a book. Some people want peace because they want to, just sort of reflect on their life. I mean, there's just so many reasons that we do what we do. So
Yeah. Well, the I think I agree with the what you said about meditation because it does work for a lot of people. I I think it's important for people to remember that it's whatever works best for you, right?
exactly,
It's whatever works best for you. As Black females, especially older Black females, we we've been socialized. There's systemic racism. There's prejudice. There's so many things that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And so it's like calming yourself, taking out time for yourself, whatever that looks like. It's really important to have, as Deb said, we have clarity of mind. We know what's important to us, why it is, and these are just some strategies that you can employ to help you have a peace of mind.
absolutely. And talking about peace of mind, if you're just streaming in, where I'm Deborah.
And I'm Linda.
This is what we call Our View podcast. And this is specifically for Black women 55 plus. We're just, want you to join in on the conversation. We're talking the topic today. We're talking about clarity,
Hmm.
having a clear path, having a clear mind. And I'm just going to throw this up really quickly. I can't believe the time is really escaping us, but this sister who is sitting in this beautiful garb, the African outfit, and she's talking about how to reclaim clarity and focus, get back on track. And the first bullet, and I'm going to be quiet because I know you have something to say about this particular slide, but forgive yourself. If there's anything that you feel that you have not done or should have done, coulda, woulda, shoulda, just forgive yourself and identify where you missed it and understand why it went wrong.
That's right.
Agreed, Glenda?
I do. And as I said earlier, we all make mistakes. We are human. And so we have the option to beat ourselves up, feel bad about what happened, or you chalk it up as a learning experience and it makes you a stronger person, right? You always have the opportunity to start over. You may not be able to correct that wrong, but you always, you know, the sun will come out tomorrow, right? You just try to um, do better, be better, but you don't beat yourself up, right? We this is like parenting, work. Nothing comes with a manual, really. And so we just want to be our best. We want to be true to ourselves. We want to give ourselves grace and we want to find things to be appreciative of and happy about each and every day.
That's right. That's right. And
Each and every day. Oh, Deb, let me say, we haven't even talked about
whoops.
trauma as Black females in America. We haven't even talked about that. And that's a whole nother topic.
This will maybe we can with this. Look at this, sister. Keeping your eye on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Staying focused. You can share with this particular slide. Don't overrate yourself. Stick to what works. Stay true to yourself. Avoid social comparisons.
Mm-hmm.
Track motives and keep good company. Look at that, sister. I mean, come
Yeah.
on now.
Mm-hmm. And I'll just focus on the last one. Keep good company, right?
Yes, yes,
Surround yourself with people who can enrich your life and who can enrich your life, who you're going to learn something from, right? You want to live your best life, right? You want to
absolutely.
be clear about what's important to you, about your values, your goals, and you want to be surrounded with people who have similar goals, right? You want to be around people who respect you for who you are and what you want out of your life, right? And so be mindful of your company because it matters.
It does. I mean, just think uh, having your company, look at how we got together to provide this platform for Black
Hmm.
women who are in our age bracket.
Right.
You know, we had to have, when you talk about good company, we just don't sit around and talk about what's happening in the country. I mean, we could talk about doom and gloom that our country is we're having a coup in the United States government. We could get into that, but we don't care about that. We only center and focus on ourselves, you know, in our community and what is best for ourselves in our community. And the only way to have that is by, again, going back to the topic, having our eyes on the prize,
Right.
you
And
know.
Deb, let me say that, focusing on wellness and focusing on making sure that we're living our best life thus allows us to enrich other people, right?
Yes,
Well, so our concern with making sure that we Black women over 55 are living our best lives with clarity and purpose just enables us to be our best self, and others will benefit from that by default. Those who are in our circle, um,
that's right.
and so we want you to, yeah, we want you to live your best life. We want
Absolutely.
to.
And we're talking about this is a great segue. This
There you go.
sister's living her best life. She's surrounded by her colleagues and co-workers. And if you focus your work, harnessing focus for success, clarity leads to productivity.
There you
Okay?
go. There you go.
Organize your thoughts and your workspace for laser sharp focus. Success begins with you. And
It
she's so,
absolutely does.
yes, she's so excited, you know. And this sister, she knows spring chicken.
Hmm. Deb, I feel compelled to say this, and I know our time is running down, but our
Hmm.
success, our happiness, our well-being is all within our control.
Yes,
We
agreed.
should not be looking for anyone outside to um to make
To
us
validate.
happy,
Yeah,
it's within us. We just have to find it. We have to, some of us may have to dig a little deeper than others, but our happiness, our well-being starts and ends with us,
that's
right?
right.
And we we learn best, we do well, we do best in community as
We
Black.
do.
And so
We do.
we're thrilled that you're here. We're thrilled that we have this opportunity to share. Um, and we look forward to hearing things that you want to, like topics that you want to talk about in the future. Right? We
Right.
have a whole stuff. We have a whole stuff, and there are a lot of things to talk about.
We do. We have 5 minutes, and the sister's doing a powerful presentation to clarify. Clarity enables you to articulate goals and vision, which is important.
Mhm,
That's what Linda and I did prior to creating this platform for you
mhm.
and for sisters. Leadership thrives on focus and preparation, and success does require you to inspire others with your direction. And that's real. And I'm just going to go to the next slide. And this, the vision board, whoops, let me go back. This vision board is so exceptionally important. The vision board planning with precision. I mean, please define your vision and revisit it often. It's so important. Create actionable steps towards your goals. Focus on the big picture while tracking the small wins. And I think sometimes we don't do that.
Right,
You know, we don't, you know, look at the small wins that we have. And
right.
I'm just going to segue into what your thoughts. We want you to, matter of fact, take that over, Linda. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we want you to share your thoughts, your ideas, recommendations for upcoming podcasts. And if you'd like to co-host the show, let us know by emailing us. But before we go, I think it's important. You should write down your goals, your objectives. You know, if you're being clear, write it down so you can look at it every day, right? And while you're doing that, if you have ideas for us, things that will be helpful, you think would be helpful to you or to this community of 55 plus Black women, email us. Let us know.
At our view, just in case, because remember, this is also audio, our view, Nubian Queens at gmail.com. That's our, OURVIEWNUBIAN, Queens, QUEENS at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go to the next slide. And we have, oops, got to next digital kind of quick. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
We have a free giveaway for the first 10 people that email us after or during the podcast. We will email a free digital ebook about clarity with companion guides. Whoa.
Well, why don't we do the first 15 people?
Ah, I knew you were going to say that. Oh, okay, Linda, you win. All right. The first 15, I can't change it there, but for the first 15 people that email us after or during the podcast, we're going to email a free digital ebook about clarity with companion guides. We actually got most of the majority of the information from our own experience and
Mm-hmm.
reading this book to present to you. And who are our sponsors? Let's move on to our sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
Our Review podcast was sponsored by the Next Digital, which has ebooks for personal and professional development, as well as workshops and courses.
Mm-hmm.
And it's soon to be launched on March 2025. So join us again for another podcast, and we can give you all the detailed information. Again, it has ebooks. And wait a minute, that's your baby. So if you
No,
want,
no, that's absolutely fine. We can go to the Deb's Digital Academy. That's fine.
yes, all right. And the next one, our other sponsor is Deb Sharif's Digital Academy. The website is Deb Sharif's digitalacademy.com. And you can see that we also have personal and professional development ebooks. We got clarity from actually from both stores, digital stores. And I think that might wrap us up. Oh, and here it is, our view.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that it's every first and third Sunday from
Yeah.
6 p.m. to 7 p.m. We have Our View, the podcast for Black women 55 plus.
Yes. And
Yes,
so, listen, it has been a pleasure being able to share on this platform. We look forward to um, our next gathering. I want to encourage everyone to just be deliberate, be intentional about being clear about the direction your life is going in. Right?
absolutely. And we're calling on Nubian Queens, Black Nubian Queens,
There
55
you
plus.
go.
Connect with us, contact us, our view, Nubian Queens at gmail.com. And again, we're going to give away not 10, but 15. The first 15 will get free the ebook with the companion guide. So, again,
Mhm.
thank you all for tuning in. And
Thank
again, I'm
you.
Deborah Sharif.
And I'm Linda Solomon.
Until next time.
Take care.